This video is about Muslim Brotherhood's plans for sedition in the United States to take over and overthrow the United States, and a relationship to this week's Torah portion. I went to a lecture by Frank Gaffney, who has worked in government for many years and is one of the leading experts on terrorism, and he told us the following, that in 2004, because of an alert patrolman who saw a couple on Chesapeake Bay, not taking pictures of the bay, but taking pictures of the support structure of the beams, they got a search warrant for the man's home, and in a hidden sub-basement found 80 boxes of material of the Muslim Brotherhood's plans for imposing sharia law and taking over the United States, as they're doing all over Europe. And in there they had a list of all the societies that they had started and their game plan, which included the following 3 points among many others. One is they're supposed to engage in interfaith dialogue to try and lull naive, well-meaning religious people into thinking that they're good guys. Number two, that the Quran specifically allows lying and taqiyya to non-believers to advance the cause, so you can't believe anything they say. And three, they are supposed to get influence with people of influence, Congress and leaders, and they're working on all fronts. Just this week it was disclosed that the Jewish Community Relations Council, which is supposed to safeguard Jewish protection in communities, is in dialogue with Islamic society. Now, he said that pretty much anything with Islamic society in it, any building has its mortgage straight from a front group from Saudi Arabia, which is designed to impose a radical form of Islam. Now, I'm not talking about all Muslims here. We're talking about the percentage, which might be a significant percentage, we don't know, of Muslims who want to impose Sharia law on the rest of the world. Just look at Muslim Brotherhood on the internet and see what they're very open about their plan. They have the same basic plan as Al-Qaeda. The difference, Gaffney said, was that Muslim Brotherhood doesn't believe we should use violence right today, that we should work our way in through the internal organs the free democratic societies allow, whereas Al-Qaeda wants to impose violence today. And the other thing is even more diabolical than the JCRC is the White House. This week it was disclosed has had many Muslim Brotherhood-related people in to meet with their national security advising team. They're getting right into the front door, and we're allowing it. Now, what does this have to do with this week's Torah portion? Well, the same thing happened to Israel a long time ago. In Parshat Pinchas, which is read in the book of Numbers, which is read during the week I'm reading this, the Midianites, which is a group of people that lived in that area a long time ago in the Middle East, they tried to worm their way into Israel through nefarious means, seducing the men of Israel in religious sexual activities, and it was working. And then Pinchas, who was a priest, saw this and decided to stop it, and so there was a leader of Israel who was leading everybody in this, engaged with a woman, and he used violence to stop it. Now, according to the Torah, God gives him the only medal ever awarded in the Torah, a Brit Shalom, a medal of peace, a covenant of peace. But it's interesting, when it's written in the Torah, it's got a small letter in the word Shalom. So some of the rabbis said, well, God wasn't too happy with Pinchas, so he made the awarding of the medal modified to tell Pinchas, don't use violence again without due process. But still, Pinchas is known as a man of great zeal, and he took action in his own hands. Because this is going to require action, not just sitting on our behinds and doing nothing while Muslim Brotherhood works its way, as this game plan is going, into interfaith dialogue groups with naive people, making positions of influence. You can't believe anything they say because they're permitted to lie openly to advance the cause of Islam. Now, last week's Torah portion has a sort of a different message there. A non-Jewish king named Balak from that area hires a non-Jewish prophet Bilam to curse Israel. And Bilam finally climbs the mountaintop ready to curse, but he sees something so beautiful he's compelled to bless instead of curse. He has the famous sentence there, how goodly are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. We wish it were so simple that the Muslim world that hates Israel and hates Jews. 59% in a recent poll of Israeli Arabs, these are citizens of Israel, believe the armed struggle is justifiable, let alone the Palestinians. These are the Israeli Arab citizens, 59% who say that. And so we wish it were so easy that the Muslim world could look and see that every week Israel comes up with some innovation that's going to save the world, whether it's medical, computing, water, energy, and yet they just have there's a significant hatred for Jews every week in the mosques all over the world. Is preached an anti-Semitic message, desire to openly to kill Jews. Iran says they want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and this is allowed to go on. And meanwhile, anti-Semitic situation increases constantly. The Jews are unsafe in Europe. There's huge numbers of Jews hoping to make Aliyah or emigrate out of those countries because of the animosity they're facing now. And so there's a real serious situation here, but we can't be lulled into silence while we commit suicide, basically. Remember the MASH song, Suicide is Painless? That's what's happening if we don't open up our eyes and pay attention to this effort. Again, it's not all Islam, but there is a significant effort among significant groups of Islam. I mean, Muslim Brotherhood now has taken over Egypt, and people pretend they're benign, but they're the motherlode of all terrorist groups behind a lot of the terror that's going on all over the world, and they have this soft way of trying to do it, but we have to be open to it, have our eyes open to it.